Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, here we go. We're here in Savage Podcast. Welcome to anybody out there who's watching this craziness. My name is Savage. Let's cool. Let's keep it like that. Um, so we're here today to talk about some vaccines. We're here to talk about a couple of things about the vaccinations and all this crazy stuff that is happening here in the United States. And we have a guy here that is going to help me out to kind of go over everything. Not everything, but some of the stuff. Just remember something. We not doctors.
Definitely not.
We just we just two knuckleheads who has nothing better to do on a Friday night, and we have mics, we have cameras, and we're just gonna talk some shit. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
How you doing?
Good, good.
All right, I like your shirt.
Thanks.
You should have bought me one.
I should have.
You should have.
I'll
I
get you
like
one.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna buy me a hat with that logo. With that, will not comply.
That's right.
So you don't comply?
No.
Why not?
Uh,
First of all, what's your name? And explain to people you ain't not a doctor.
I'm
So
definitely not a doctor.
all right,
Absolutely not. I'm an opinionated
that's right.
person who believes I have common sense. But yeah. So my name's Ken. Cynical though, if you want to check that out, Cynical versus Gordy. If you're into
Ooh.
battle rap on No Coast New England, just type in Cynical versus Gordy on YouTube. It'll pop up with the battle. Good shit.
I want to apologize because you sent me that video
I
over
did.
and over, and I
And
haven't watched it yet.
very sad. Very sad about that.
I'm sure I broke your
You
heart.
know,
All
I
right.
thought we were cool.
We're cool. It's just, I
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
you don't comply.
Yeah, so I mean, well, if you're talking about comply, I mean, first of all, I'm unvaccinated,
Hmm.
only because I don't personally think that I personally need the vaccine, um, and I actually know that for a fact because in November, my whole house came down with the Delta variant.
Okay.
We all got COVID, like COVID, not just like, oh, I think I had it,
Yeah, yeah.
sniffles, like
You got tested. Is
body.
it being
We got
proved that you
tested
got it?
positive, the whole house.
Gotcha.
Everything, the body aches, the loss of taste and smell,
Yeah.
the congestion in the lungs, everything. And it was not fun.
Right.
But we all got it. We
Hmm.
got over it. So um, now I have, what's called natural immunity, and I don't need the vaccine. So I don't need it. But I will not comply is, with the mandates. You
Now,
need to be vaccinated to
right
do this. You need to be vaccinated to do that. And I just don't agree with that.
now, is a political reason behind the reason? Is a political reason behind your decision not to get vaccinated? Is that what it is? Is it for political views? Are you concerned about something? What are you concerned about?
With the vaccine, I mean, first of all, it was rushed into existence. I know they've been working on similar COVID
Right, that's what I was
SARS-CoV-2
gonna say. They be
vaccines.
working on something else. So
Yeah, so the first SARS-CoV-2 or COVID vaccine uh, virus was
right,
discovered in 1999. In 2001, they started experimenting on them, creating patents for different vaccines and patents on the viruses themselves.
right.
And they've been working on that for over 20 years. But this particular strain, the COVID-19,
Hmm.
brand new, and so yeah, and the mRNA technology has been worked on as well for the last 20 years as well. But this particular vaccine, as they're calling it, it's not even a vaccine, by the way.
What is it then?
So if you look at the Oxford Dictionary,
Hmm.
up until 2019, the definition for a vaccine was, an inoculation or something that would provide immunity to a disease or
Okay.
to a virus. And that's why when they say vaccine, people think, oh, well, it worked with polio, it worked with the measles, the mumps,
Right.
smallpox, all that stuff. And in 2020, the Oxford Dictionary and I believe the Webster Dictionary changed the definition of vaccine. And they basically, it's the exact same
I mean,
definition.
2020, they just change
They
it.
changed it. Yes, 2020, they took the word immunity out of the definition
Hmm.
and they inserted to provide protection from a virus or a disease.
So you don't think that let's keep calling it a vaccine because that's what they call it. So you don't think the vaccine works at all?
No, that's not true. I believe it provides protection
Right.
against similar to people that get the flu shot every year.
Man, they still
And
get sick.
some people still get sick.
Right. Most people.
It's supposed to be less severe, or whatever.
Right.
But also, since they changed the definition of vaccine, I don't know if you've heard news outlets now calling it a flu vaccine. So it's always been called the flu shot my entire life.
Right.
And now they're calling it the flu vaccine because the definitions changed just to provide protection. It's so if you're scared of dying or being hospitalized, you could get some protection from these, new vaccines, which are really just,
Now,
inoculation
now,
shots.
what do you think that is going to happen to you if you get it? What are you afraid of? Because
The
I'm fully
vaccine?
vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated, and I'm still have to
Yeah,
get the shot or whatever, the third shot, whatever it
the
is,
booster.
the booster.
The
Yeah,
booster, yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
So I still got to get the booster, and in my case, I can care less because I think, you know, I mean, I don't think the United States. Well, I should take that back because back in back in a few years ago, I mean, Puerto Ricans were getting were getting a vaccine or something, and they were like chemically castrated. I guess that's one of the big reasons why a lot of people don't want to get it. But I don't think that nowadays the United States is going to come up with a vaccine that is going to either castrate you or kill you or something like that. I mean, I don't see why anybody could be afraid of the vaccine. I don't understand that.
So, and I think what you're saying too is also, what was it, the Tuskegee experiments?
Yeah, and
Where
back
they were,
in 1960s or something like that
and they
in
were
Puerto
giving them, what
Rico.
was it? Well,
Uh,
yeah. Anyways, yeah, and they were giving them
I
basically
remember the name of
for
it, but it was like,
experiment, and
yeah,
it
and
was
they were
looking
getting
at.
all fucked
But
up.
that's not the reason why, and I don't think right now that the government is or whoever is, the pharmaceutical companies would make something that would specifically kill their
Hmm.
customers because they need, right. How does a drug dealer make their money? The comeback, right?
Yeah,
Well,
just like
guess
yeah,
what? Booster 3 is the comeback.
yep,
Booster 4 in Israel's the comeback. They're looking for the comeback.
yeah,
So they're not going to try and kill. But why get something if you don't need it? Now some people do need it, and I'm not saying nobody should get it.
right,
I'm saying I believe it's an individual choice. If you are at risk,
right,
if you have comorbidities, if you have underlying conditions, if you're an elderly person, if you're somebody who is scared of being hospitalized or succumbing to death from
right,
this, virus, then you should go ahead and get yourself a jab. Absolutely. But what I'm against is mandating that everybody get one,
right,
and because it's the efficacy of the vaccine or the jab,
right,
is I mean, real time showing us it's proven not to be what they said it was going to be. They said everybody gets 2 doses and this thing will go away.
right,
Now it's get a booster. Now it's vaccinated people can spread and contract the disease just like anybody else.
right,
And if you look at Israel, they're the most vaccinated country on the planet. Over 90% of their citizens are vaccinated, and yet they're still having surges. They're still having increases in cases. And now they're looking at mandating a fourth booster.
So pretty
Well,
much,
why get a fourth booster if the first three didn't work in the first place?
so bottom line, you think that vaccine is just useless
No, I don't think it's useless.
because if you say like you said, the Middle is in Israel, right? And all these people getting vaccinated, and they're still going through some problems, and still people like dying of the COVID, and this thing spraying like a wildfire. Then what's the point? I'm with
well,
you. I'm
so
with you on the point not to force anybody to get this thing. I think we should be like, you don't want to get it, then fuck it. It's your problem.
so that's the thing is what I'm saying is that even though 90% plus of their population has been vaccinated,
Hmm.
it's still spreading. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying it doesn't work. What I'm saying is it doesn't help stop the spread. And
Okay.
so, and here's the thing is that there's some things going on here where, people are looking at, I have some of my own family members will not talk to me because I'm not vaccinated. They
Come
won't, I swear to God,
on.
I
Come
swear to God,
on.
I have aunts and uncles that have
Why?
blocked me on Facebook
Because you
because
don't want to get vaccinated?
because I don't want to get vaccinated because I share my opinion about that, and it doesn't coincide with their belief that that these things are God's gift to man, and they just don't want to hear it, and so they block me. They won't allow me to take them out for dinner.
Man, that's
It's
too extreme.
it's crazy, and there's also, I mean, there was a recent poll taken, which this is the kind of stuff that's scary because first, I told you about the definition of the vaccine
Yeah.
being changed.
Yeah.
They also changed the definition of an anti vaxxer. So, an anti vaxxer used to be someone who does not believe in vaccines, doesn't believe
Right.
they work, and won't take them. And again, vaccines like your smallpox and all that stuff
Exactly.
proven to work. So you know what I mean. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in actual vaccines
You just
that
don't believe
work
in this
and
one.
the efficacies that work. But they changed the definition to everything else plus someone who is against vaccine mandates. So if you're just against, if you're like, hey, these things are great,
Yeah.
I just don't think everybody should be forced to take one. You're now an anti-vaxxer,
Oh,
according to
that's
the
a new label they're putting
according
on
to the
people now.
when you start changing language, it's kind of a dangerous road to take.
Right.
Just because people are like, oh, anti-vaxxers, this and that, and then you have this poll that was recently taken, a Democratic voter poll, and it said
So you're now you're making it political.
it
Why
said well because
a
no
Democratic?
this is why it's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Go
No,
ahead.
no.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I,
Go
I,
ahead. What this is going?
this is why it's dangerous, though. I'm just
I
saying
got
it
you. I
doesn't
got you.
matter. Democrat, whatever. This is just what the headline says.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, people in America.
People in America. There you
Took
go.
this
That
poll.
sounds better.
Okay, and 55% support fines against unvaccinated people.
That's stupid.
59% support house arrest of unvaccinated people.
What the fuck?
48% support prison for questioning the vax efficacy on social media.
No way.
So just questioning. Okay.
What is this? Cuba? What is this? Russia? What the fuck is this?
And you got Dr. Tony Science who says, I am science, follow the science.
Right.
But science is all about questioning.
Right.
That's how you got Einstein, who questioned the guy before him, who
Yep.
came up with his own theory of relativity
Yep.
and the string, all that stuff. Science is questioning the guy before you and saying,
That doesn't make
add
any
up?
sense.
Can
Yeah.
you add to it? How can we
Right.
test it? How can we? And that's science.
Yep.
But questioning it, you should be imprisoned for. 45% support internment camps.
No way. That's
Internment
too.
camp.
That's way too fucking extreme, bro.
When was the last time internment
That is
camps were
crazy.
used, by the way? That we know of in history. Besides,
Not here in the U.S. though.
Besides Australia.
Yeah, way over there, but not what here? Like
What was
what?
the,
200 years ago? Oh no, back when the Cuban thing back in the 60s, wasn't it?
Oh, did they use them then too?
They use a bunch of freaking
then with the
they used to
Jews,
put a
right?
bunch of cages and not cages but like a fence
Yeah.
under a bridge. And you remember when Cuba sends all the Cubans over here?
Yeah,
When
yeah,
Castro
yeah.
sent all the Cubans over here.
That's
That was the
dangerous.
last time I think that something like that was used.
So I got two more for you. 47% support surveillance. I don't know really what.
That's got to be some wacko ass
Okay.
people, man. That doesn't make any sense.
Here's the good one though. 29% support the state taking their kids.
What the
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Where do you got that? Where do you got that from?
that was Alex Rubenstein, and I don't know where he's from, but he's.
Send that to me. I gotta look into that.
I'll send it to you. He tweeted it.
Yeah.
But he's obviously somebody that looked up this poll, and so yeah.
I wonder who actually ran that poll because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. But just even seeing it, that's dangerous. You know what I mean? If you're going to, if people support that, but they support it because they're given misinformation
Right.
from the mainstream media all the time.
I think that's part of misinformation because I don't think the United States is one of those countries that is all about freedom. It's always fighting for freedom. And for you to actually agree with something like that, then what does that make you? A dictator? That doesn't make any freaking sense. Why would you want to suggest put your own people or your neighbors, let's say, because this wasn't done by the government. This was just like regular wackos just
Regular
giving their opinion. Exactly.
Yep.
Why would you even think of putting your neighbor in jail for not getting the vaccine? I think that's ridiculous. I agree with like airlines. It's a private business. You don't get vaccinated, you don't get in my plane. That's a private business. I agree with that. If you want to run with that, then you do you. But like regular citizens on the street, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
Why would you want to put people like take your kids away because you don't want to get vaccinated? I'm vaccinated, but I would never put the vaccine on my kids because I think this has got to be their decision on that. I'm big on that part of it. Me, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But my young kids, I have a 4-year-old and I have an 11-year-old boy and I have another 11-year-old girl and a 7-year-old girl. No, they're not getting it because I don't think they need it.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense for me to give it to them. There's not enough data out there that says, oh, kids are transmitting this thing, or kids are dying because of it. In my case, I got it done because I think it's the right thing. I have to fly out of here at some point, so why not?
Yeah.
But other than that, doesn't
No,
make any
yeah,
sense.
and that's the thing too is like force vaccinating all the children.
Yeah,
It's unnecessary for one,
yeah,
and for two is like there's scientific studies that show that kids are more at risk of hospitalization or death from influenza than they are from COVID.
right.
Um, you know what I mean? And the vaccine in young males, certain ones are more higher than others, increase the risk of myocarditis.
That's
That's
what I was going to ask you
that's been
about.
proven.
I was going to ask you about that.
I have a question.
Should it?
Asked for one of our followers.
Oh, already.
If your kids don't want to get the vaccine and they're gonna be taken out of school, what do you do?
If all right, so if I had
For
kids,
not taking the, to make it
yeah,
more clear, for not
yeah,
taking the vaccine,
I get it.
they're gonna be forced out of school.
Yeah, then I would figure out a way to homeschool them. I wouldn't force my kids to get a vaccine that they don't need, and that could potentially damage them, long-term side effects, potentially.
I
I'm
agree
not
with
saying
you.
every kid that gets one, most of them will be fine, but there's still potential. There's a risk.
It's a risk with
There is a
everything.
risk
With everything in life.
for everything.
Yeah.
And why would you risk it when they're more at risk to be hospitalized or succumb to death from the flu than they are from COVID? Why would you risk that for no reason at all?
Me, I'm not. I won't.
Other than to sell something that's going to make big pharma $36 billion in a year.
Mm.
Which, by the way, that actually brings me to a good point. Is all of a sudden big pharma is like the big hero here, and we got to get their product. But it wasn't so long ago that big pharma paid the biggest criminal fine in history for starting and implementing the opioid pandemic
Oh yeah.
that crippled this
Oh, yeah.
country. That's proven. In fact, they paid the fine,
Yep.
the biggest criminal fine in history, and now all of a sudden they're the big heroes, and they're making the most amount of profits that they've ever made in history off of this jab.
I mean, the
I
thing.
mean, if you're somebody that has no scientific background,
Yep.
no knowledge at all, but you have a little bit of common sense, if you just follow the money, something doesn't add. You know what I mean? It's like everybody has to get it. Why not focused protection? The people that need it. That's what I'm about. Is the people that need it, the people that are at risk. Those are the people that should be getting it. People that are healthy, that don't have a lot of risk, and that their personal choices, they don't want to get it, then they should live their lives.
Right.
They're gonna get it anyways. Actually, I got a couple quotes from Anthony Fauci. Just said,
Mr. Fauci. Fauci. Ouchie
Mr.
is what they call him,
Fauci.
right? Fauci.
Yeah.
Ouchie is what they call him.
Fauci. He's something else, man.
I like the. I like the guy though.
Yeah.
I like. The thing is like with this guy. This is just my personal opinion. This guy has been working with all types of presidents, with the Republicans and Democrats,
Oh, he's
for
been in it
for many
for a long time,
years.
yeah.
Exactly. Only now is becoming a big problem. Anything that he's saying, but the guy's been working for many years under different administrations. So I don't see.
Have you seen his work on AIDS?
I according to what I according
It
to
was a huge blunder. Look it up.
it was.
A huge blunder.
Come on, man,
Look
for
it up.
real.
Yeah. I don't have a.
Where do you
full-
get
I
that
don't have a
from?
lot
What
of-
do you get? But
I
I gotta ask that. Where do you get that from? Because it all depends where you get it from. But this is when you say we're getting a lot of misinformation. This is the problem. Like for example, you watch Fox News.
I don't watch Fox. I don't watch.
I'm
any
just
of these.
no. I'm just pointing it out. Like
They're all.
it's
they're
all
lies.
depends where you get the information. If you watch Fox News, the guy sucks. He's horrible. His career is is a disaster. If you watch MSNBC, then
He's
this
God,
guy is
yeah.
a hero. He's
Science.
God.
He is
Which is
science.
exactly.
Yeah.
He is
Oh,
the shit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all depends where you get your information from. You know? What was the quotes?
Okay. So Fauci, recently said most people will get COVID. We are not going to eradicate COVID like we did smallpox.
Right.
He said that. So if we're not going to eradicate it like smallpox, then why the force of mandates and forcing people to get this thing that isn't going to eradicate it anyways? Right? If everybody's going to get it. And then the other one is Janet Woodcock, the FDA commissioner, said most people will get COVID.
Right.
And then Andy Slavitt, Biden's former director of COVID response, said given Delta, this is back in Delta. Now we know Omicron
Yeah.
is more contagious
Right.
than Delta, but he said given
And it's worse though. It hurts like a motherfucker. I got
oh,
I got a couple of friends of mine who got that shit. They get tested and they like no joke. And it's like every joint in your body, it's like you get run over
I
by a
think that
car.
was Delta because I had Delta and that was me.
Whatever. No. I know of friends of mine. Like, what, you think you're my only friend now? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm saying
I got fucking
they
friends,
can't-
bro.
if you get a test for COVID, it's a test for COVID. It's not
Right.
a test for the strain, right?
Oh, okay.
Or the variant, I should say.
The
It's not a
variant,
test
yeah.
for the variant. So if you test positive for COVID, you either have it or you don't. It could be the original, Delta, Omicron. You don't know.
Right.
But Delta was very body aches. Every bone in
Right.
your muscle and stuff like that. Omicron actually, the 5 most common side effects or symptoms from Omicron in order is runny nose,
Mhm.
headache, ouch, fatigue, sneezing, and a sore throat. Those are the 5 most common. Now, yes, there can be other
Right.
symptoms, but those are the 5 most reported symptoms from Omicron.
May I say, it is
What you got?
for what I know, those are the common symptoms of regular flu.
Of the cold. No, those are common
You
symptoms.
have
of
you
the
have a
regular
cold, you are gonna get
Yeah.
all those.
Absolutely.
Now I have to ask, going back, and I have one of our spectators that have a questions as well. Going back to the part that you mentioned about the vaccine, right? You had it. For example, you had it. You are creating
COVID. I
antibodies.
had COVID.
You
yeah.
had COVID.
Yeah.
You're already creating antibodies and
Yep.
stuff like that.
hmm
Why should you get the vaccine?
Right. Exactly. That's my point.
I mean, that's so.
Well, it doesn't make it. It doesn't make sense for some people.
I'd like to follow up with that though. That
Sure.
was kind of a good. That was a good question. Actually, yesterday I believe it was.
You're doing better and better. That was the same thing with Juancho when you were here. You just fucking knocking up that. I mean, yo, hit it. Motherfuckers learning this shit. That's
So, yeah. So I had COVID in early November. My whole household did. And again, like I said, it had to have been Delta because it was the
good. It was
severe
horrible.
body, everything. Lost taste of smell, the whole thing. We were all out for like 10, 11 days. And even when I came back to work, I was still, kind of getting over it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I wasn't contagious, but I was still getting over it. So it was the real deal. And like I said, it sucked. But I got over it, and your body creates those natural antibodies, which my whole life growing up, science class, school, everything
Right.
else, you're taught about natural immunity. That's why, like, when you're a kid and you get chickenpox, they would have like a chickenpox party, so all the kids would just get it and get it over
You
with.
get it over
all
with.
that.
Yep.
Now there are cases where some, very small percentage of people could get chickenpox again, but for the most part, you get chickenpox, you don't get it again because it's a specific virus, and you get it once, you have the antibodies, you don't get it again.
Right.
Natural immunity. And I've been talking about natural immunity, online to family, friends, stuff like that, for the last 2 years since this thing started. And I've been called a conspiracy theorist and everything else, and there's no such thing.
Yeah. No. I mean,
Stuff. But now, let me just real quick.
people have to
before
chill
you-
with that shit.
The
man.
CDC, I believe it was yesterday, posted on their website. There was some research thing that they said after extensive research, the CDC found those with natural antibodies, or those who have recovered from COVID,
Right.
are more protected from contracting and spreading the virus than those with the vaccine alone.
Hold on.
They finally just came out with that.
Hold
yesterday.
on. You're telling me people had already had it.
Yeah.
Are better off not vaccinating
Yep.
the people that is vaccinating for not to contract not to contract the virus. I mean, like, for what I know, if you vaccinate, you are less, if this is a word, probable to get the COVID.
That is the narrative that they say, is that if you're vaccinated, you're less likely to get it and you're less likely to spread it. That is what they've been saying. But they just said that if you've gotten COVID and you've recovered from it, you're more protected than someone who is vaccinated.
Okay. So because you creating
more
your
protected.
because
That
you
doesn't
creating
mean
your
that
your
they're
own
not
immunity.
protected.
That's what it
It
is.
just means you're more protected.
Yeah.
But if you look at a real life study, my office has 11 people in the office.
Yeah. Give it
And
take.
6 of them were out with COVID. They all got COVID right in the same week. They all got COVID, and 5 out of the 6 were vaccinated. So I'm just saying. So, and the point is that yes, the vaccine helps you reduce some symptoms. It does help you prevent hospitalization, but it doesn't prevent you from getting it, and it definitely doesn't help you from spreading it.
So now, if I'm sorry, but if the vaccine help you to deal with this better, why not? At least for that reason, why not get it?
Well, the question isn't why or why not to get it. The question is why force people to get it if
Yeah,
you're
you're
vaccinated and you can still get it. Does it matter if you get the if does it matter if you get the virus from somebody that was vaccinated, or does it matter if you get the virus from somebody who wasn't vaccinated? It really shouldn't matter because it's the same virus.
right.
And you're vaccinated, so you're protecting yourself based
Yeah,
on your own, volition.
yeah. I think
So
that's the way it should be.
that's what I'm saying is that
I think that's the way it should be. We should all like do your own thing. You don't want to get it,
yeah,
don't get it.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And then no one should be forcing you to get this thing because it doesn't make any freaking sense.
Before the questions go away, we have an spectator that have a question regarding the same subject.
Okay, so about forcing people to get the vaccine. Um, what did you do for a living?
I work at a commercial fire alarm and security company.
Yes, it
Because
does.
right now, I don't know. You see the law. A company for more than 100 people, employees, everybody needs to be vaccinated. What you gonna do in your company tell you that you need to vaccinate?
Before you
Wow.
answer that, let me explain something to people. We're not experts. We're just here talking.
I have a pretty good answer for that.
I know you got a pretty good answer, but what I'm saying is people have to understand is there's no lawyers or doctors in this
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
It's just people
Exactly,
drinking and talking.
Yep.
Take it.
All right, yeah. So to answer your question, my friend, first of all, when that is what you're talking about, though, 100 or more employees, they got to be vaccinated, or they have to show a negative COVID test once a week, or whatever it was. That was a mandate by President Biden. A mandate, if people don't know, is not a law. A mandate only becomes a law if you follow it. That's the first thing that you need to know. A mandate is not something that you have to comply with. I will not comply. But the great thing is this mandate was brought to the Supreme Court to try to make it law.
Yeah, they shut it down.
And the Supreme Court, I think it was what, 6-3,
Yes, they, yep, 6 to 3, and they say hell
said
no.
that's unconstitutional and it's not happening. If you want this to pass, it's got to go through Congress, and it would never pass through
It will
Congress.
never pass.
So, but yeah, definitely a good question. And if that was the case, where my company, and I have a really good job and I love it,
Right.
but if that ever was the case where they said, oh, you have to be vaccinated or else find another job, I honestly would find another
Come
job.
on, you'd
I
rather
swear to
lose
God.
your job
I
over
have
getting the
I
vaccine.
have plenty of in the industry that I work in. I have plenty of contacts, plenty of people that would be willing to hire me with less than 100 people. But also, I would find another way. You always find a way to survive. I'm not going to give in and allow them to take my freedom by forcing me to get a medical procedure that's against my will. That goes against the Nuremberg Code. Do you know about the Nuremberg Code?
I heard about it. I don't know much
That
about
was
it.
after the Holocaust, where
Okay.
you can't do experiments, or you can't do
Okay, yeah, okay.
people's willing participation,
Right.
medical procedures, things like that.
Gotcha.
That's completely against that.
No, but
And
taking it that far, I think is an exaggeration. I mean, the way I look at it is, I get it. You shouldn't be forcing this, but for you to be like, oh, I'd rather lose my job instead of get this vaccine. I mean, look at how many people get the vaccine. Have you heard of people dropping dead because they get the vaccine?
no, it's not even
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
That wouldn't even
Most
be.
of the people, most of the stuff that we consume every day, we don't even know how it's being made.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
We
I
don't.
agree.
I mean, right now we're drinking this liquor. We don't even know how it was made, and even the food that you ate before you came here, you don't even know if that shit is even real. I mean, the way I look at it is, at this point, you know, after you see 100 million people, because this is another thing. People are only looking at a lot of people are only looking at what's going on in the United States. There's other countries out there, and they're all getting vaccinated, and you don't hear people dropping dead because, and it's the same vaccines from here they've been using, like in Dominican Republic. You know what I'm saying? So after you see that many people getting vaccinated and not having any issues, what is the problem?
I
Why
have
will you
I have
complicate?
Well,
Why will you complicate life to the point that you'd rather lose your job instead of just get a vaccine? I mean, to me, it's kind of too much.
well, I mean, it's kind of a long-winded, but so there's a couple points there. Is one, why not just do this one thing, right? And it's like, okay, that would have been fine. And
Right.
a lot of people did. They heard, okay, you get your 2 doses, and you be a team
You're good to
player.
go. Yeah.
You take one for the team. You get your 2 doses, and then you could stop wearing your mask. You could do this. You could do that. Well, guess what? 2 doses turns into 3, and then look at Israel now. They're 4. They're gonna just keep playing this on because
Right.
guess what? If people aren't getting doses, nobody's making money. And unfortunately, you got to follow money. But again, if you comply, every time you comply, it's just it's a little convenience.
But it's not going to get. I mean,
I
you
understand. I know just this one thing. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, like in my case, the Thursday is my last one. So once I get the booster, I'm done.
then what are you gonna do?
And
when
then
they
no, at
require-
that point, I'll be in your shoes. At that point, I'll be like, you want me to take a fourth one? Nah, go fuck yourself. I'm not getting a
Okay,
fourth
yeah,
shot.
so
But at
I'm just
least
2 steps ahead.
But
of
at
you
least
right now.
exactly.
Okay,
The only thing is like you, but you already saying no to something
right.
that you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They can make your
But I
life
don't need it.
easier. Put it this
According
way.
to the CDC, I don't need it. I have more protection than you do with your 3 doses, whatever you got.
Yeah, two so far.
You know what I mean? According to the CDC, I don't need it. So why would I? But the thing is, when we talk about mandates and stuff, they never talk about people with natural immunity. Okay? Even so again, I told you the Omicron symptoms, right?
Right.
Runny nose, headache, fatigue, sneezing, sore throat. But then the White House, Joe Biden, he said,
No. Specify. The president of the United States, Joe Biden. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
Joe
call it by
Brandon,
what
Joe
it is.
Brandon. I mean, Joe
No,
Biden.
no.
Biden.
Don't say no. Don't say Brandon here. Don't say Brandon here.
Man, let's go, Brandon.
What's going on?
Let's
All
go, Brandon. No, don't say that here.
That's awesome.
You never know if he's watching this shit.
But yeah, so they had said at the beginning of winter,
Right.
or he said at the beginning of winter, and then they put this quote on the whitehouse.gov webpage,
Right.
and he said, we are, and again, I told you the symptoms of Omicron. He said, we are intent on not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing, and we'll get through this. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you'll soon overwhelm.
That sounds like Christianity started convincing you to believe in. If you don't accept Jesus, you going to hell and you rot in hell.
Okay.
That's-
Okay.
The fuck,
Okay.
man.
So, in
Fucking
same
old man is
in the same
intense.
subject, and this comes from one of our followers as well.
Damn. Do we have that many? We just started this thing.
Hey,
God damn.
if you had COVID
Mm.
and you had it like before the vaccine, and let's say right in between,
Mhm.
and then you get the vaccine, that means you are double protection.
No.
Oh, hold on.
You're asking questions like he's a doctor. He ain't no fucking doctor.
I know.
I could answer that. You no.
Did I say it's one of our followers?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just make
I apologize.
I actually have.
Who is getting in my veins?
It's so funny. They're asking questions. I just reading this stuff today. Let's see if I can ask up real quick. It was okay, so this is the Oxford academic from the Infectious Diseases Society of America. I was talking about the necessity of COVID-19 vaccinations in persons who have already had COVID-19. And, it's a big long thing, but their conclusion said both previous infection,
Mm-hmm.
someone who had COVID and got rid of it, and vaccination provides substantial protection against COVID-19. Vaccination of, so this is the question right here. Vaccination of previously infected individuals does not provide additional protection against COVID-19 for several months. Okay, but after would provide. So what they're saying, you had COVID
Right.
and you got over it. They're kind of like the vaccine. They're saying,
And it's like you were. It's
I
like you were.
don't
It's like
agree
you
with
were
this.
vaccinated by having it
yeah,
already.
and I don't fully agree with this, but it's maybe kind of like the flu, where if a different strain or different variant, then you'd be susceptible. That's my personal opinion. What they're saying is if you get COVID, you get over it. They're saying 4 months. They don't know. Right now, it's like 6 to 9 months. Could be a year. They don't know. After so many months, they're saying you could then lose the antibody. So then if you got vaccinated, it would provide you additional protection.
Oh, so those.
But if-
Oh, that works.
But
though.
if you got vaccinated, like me, I just had COVID in Africa 2 months ago, whatever, the beginning of November. Actually, it was almost 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I got it right now, they're basically, according to this study from this firm, it would provide no additional protection.
I mean, you don't go anywhere, you don't fly anywhere, so you don't give a shit if you get it or not. Because I mean,
Talking about, I'm going to front deal with you, bro.
no, you can come with me if you're not vaccinated, bro.
What?
They don't let you on the plane.
Until they pass a law, natural antibodies, then
They
I'll
won't.
be good.
They won't let you on the plane without the shit. You know how it goes. Have you seen? Have you seen the? And I don't know, man. This is just getting a little. It's getting a little bit out of control because people should not, like you said, they should be forcing anybody to get this thing. In my opinion, you should get it. And if you don't want it, then that's your problem. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. But hey, there's people out there who will comply, like me. I did comply because I think it's the right thing to do. In my case, I'm 42. I'm healthy, beautiful, brown,
Definitely.
perfect,
Definitely beautiful.
sexy like a motherfucker. But at the same time, I don't want. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want it. I can't. I got COVID not too long ago, and it hurt.
It is Edemoso.
Oh, thank you. Are we allowed to speak Spanish in this motherfucker? Yeah, we are. Okay.
Nah, hablo y entiendo un poco.
Okay. You should come more often. I think we should come here to talk about politics. Will you come here and talk about politics with me?
I'll talk about my opinion, what I think. Real quick though, just
Shoot
think
it.
about the numbers, right?
Mhm.
So you have, well, I'll start with something that's proven, which is the Massachusetts just released. So like a month ago, they said, we're going to start differentiating between hospitalizations with COVID
Yep.
and hospitalizations from COVID.
Right.
Okay, and so they just released their latest results, which says nearly half of their hospitalizations with COVID are incidental, which means somebody came in there, broken leg, broken
Right.
femur bone, heart attack, brain something that brought them to an emergency, in the hospital. And while they were there, they tested them and they tested positive for COVID.
Oh,
So that means that their hospitalization. So when you see on the news, 30,000 people in mass hospitalized
Right.
with COVID, cut that number in half, and that's the people that may be from COVID. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
most
that's
of
what I'm
those
saying.
people, they just happen to have COVID while they're there, and that's the same thing with the death rate. Last time I checked was 138 or 136,000 Americans, but those are with COVID. So you could have died in a car crash, and they test you, and you have COVID. That's a death with COVID. That counts towards the 100.
Yeah, but they said death with, not death by.
Right, but still, that's the
I
number.
mean,
So people,
if they test you, you have it. You have it. It's just, I think they just try to keeping track of how many people are getting this thing. Whether you die in a car crash doesn't mean you die by COVID. You die with.
right, but
which
they're
they just
doing
want to.
that, and they're being dishonest about it, which is why 48% of people support prison for questioning efforts.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And
That's fucked
20
up.
because people just hear the news headlines and they go, "Oh my God, almost 1 million people died from this thing. I gotta be scared. I gotta stop living my life so that I can
I
have
gotta-
a life." Or
I
something.
gotta ask you a question before we out. We got like 7 more minutes. Remember we were talking about the horse freaking pills or whatever.
Oh yeah,
fuck it was?
ivermectin.
Yeah,
It's not horse
let's-
pills, by the way.
What? Yeah, I like when we were talking about this.
Yep.
You mentioning what you read about it, and to me, let's finish it with that. So,
Okay.
what was it that you said again? Just say it right
Alright.
here so people can hear it.
Yeah, so I was just saying that ivermectin, when people were starting to speculate about how it could be reused as a drug that could fight COVID, immediately, I think it was the FDA. I don't think, it was either CDC or the FDA. I think it was the FDA who said, "Hey, y'all ain't horses. Stop taking horse dewormer." Okay, and then they had that.
Did they say it like that? Did
They literally tweeted, "Hey, y'all."
the hey y'all?
Yeah, like acting like, first of all, people that take ivermectin are hicks and stupid. Okay, and then there was a false news story saying that gunshot victims couldn't be treated in a hospital in Oklahoma because there were too many overdoses on ivermectin, which was found to be completely
What's
false.
ivermectin?
Ivermectin.
What is that?
Ivermectin was originally created.
Mhm.
I don't know the people that made it, but they won a Nobel Prize for it in 2015
Okay.
as a human drug, pill form.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a anti-parasitic drug that treats
Made for humans.
made for humans
Human beings.
that treats people in like Africa that have like river blindness,
Right.
things like that. But a lot of times, drugs can be reused or repurposed.
Right.
Is the word for other things. So people started trying to repurpose it. There's plenty of doctors out there. There's a doctor in Florida that has over 3,000 COVID patients on his list that
Gotcha.
he had. that it had used early treatments such as ivermectin, monoclonal antibodies, and hydrochloroquine. And out of the 3,000 COVID patients that he's had who he's treated with these early treatment methods, zero have died from COVID. And so there could be, and again, there's not enough studies. There's not,
Right.
but why is there not enough studies? If the option is there, if there's an opportunity that could be there, why are we not spending money on doing these studies and seeing if these things work? Because clearly, the efficacy of the jab isn't doing what we were told
jab.
it was supposed to do.
That's a new name of that.
That's what I'm
shit.
saying. It
Jab,
does
yeah.
it does do something, but
Right.
it's not doing what we were sold on that it's supposed to do. It was supposed to do 2 jabs, everybody, it's gone. But that clearly isn't the case.
So this thing was made for humans, not animals. Because I
Ivermectin
see,
was made. It's a human drug. It's
as a
been
human
prescribed
drug.
to millions and millions of people across the world.
because I see it a lot. I've seen a lot of people making fun of that, like on TV
Yeah.
about like
There,
what's the name of this guy? I forgot his name. Seth No, keep going.
yeah.
I remember his
So
name.
a lot of times drugs are repurposed. Okay, so ivermectin was created again in 2015, Nobel Prize, prescribed to millions of people.
Yep.
But they repurpose drugs, kind of like they do penicillin and antibiotics to give to the farm animals because they're all stuffed so close together that they don't get bacterial diseases and stuff like that. So when the doctor prescribes you penicillin, are you taking a chicken antibacterial medicine? No, you're taking a human medicine prescribed to you by a doctor that was a medicine that was made for you. They've
Gotcha.
repurposed that for animals in another instance. They've taken ivermectin, they've turned it into, like a paste form, so it's easier for horses or whatever to digest, and it does help deworm horses. So that is a accurate use. So when CNN says Joe Rogan took horse dewormer,
Yeah.
they're technically not lying, but they are lying by omitting the truth. Only saying he's taking horse dewormer. Well,
Right.
he's taking a drug that's been repurposed for deworming horses, but that's not the drug. He wasn't, sucking, guzzling.
Right.
DVDs.
Because
He was
that's
taking
how they're
pills
putting it.
prescribed by his doctor.
Yeah, in Saturday Night Live, they actually did a bit like that about
Yeah,
this kind of pills, and they put it on,
Yeah.
on cream, and then you drink this, and then you turn
Yeah.
into a horse and all that. And this is what happens. So
Yeah.
when you take this information and you don't even spend 1 minute trying to find out if this thing was created for animals or for human,
right.
then all of a sudden
Yeah,
the people that are like horses just looking
Yeah,
straight
exactly.
over,
Yeah.
straight ahead, then they believe these things. I didn't even know this thing was made for humans until you mentioned it.
right. Yeah,
And then I Google it and I look into it because I mean, what else we have? We have Google.
Yeah.
If we don't use Google to find this information, then what?
And also, I know we're running out of time, so I just want to say,
Yeah.
I was going to bring up the Great Barrington Declaration. Okay, it was brought out in October 2020.
Mhm.
Okay, and we probably don't have time, but it was written by
Well, you're coming back here.
3 dogs. Look it up. Great, if you Google it, there's GreatBarringtonDeclaration.org.
Yeah.
Okay, look it up. And I will say that there's leaked emails from the Freedom of Information Act from Dr. Collins and Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
Who, as soon as this thing came out, they conspired to smear it and call these guys fringe scientists and fringe doctors, who are all epidemiologists, virologists, everything else from Oxford, Stanford, and Harvard. I highly doubt they're fringe. And then there was another 45 doctors that co-signed it, and now there's over 900 something thousand people that have signed this declaration. So definitely check it out. Great Barrington Declaration. I think it's .org, or
Yeah.
Google it. You'll find
I'll
it.
look it up because next time you
Google it.
come here,
Yeah.
I want to finish this conversation because
Yeah, we can talk about other things too.
and exactly, and then politics. We want to talk about all kinds of stuff. I
Yeah,
like your
how you
insight
think
because
your president is doing so far. We can talk about that.
let's do it for next time. About why will you if I start talking about that,
Yeah.
then our guests outside are just gonna sleep out there, man. But
next time.
next time I want you to keep coming here, and then we're just gonna keep talking about all this kind of stuff,
Sure. Absolutely.
and then this is gonna be fun. Thank you very much for being here,
All right.
people out
Clinical
there.
versus Gordy too. Check it out.
Yes, check that out. We're gonna put the link. We're gonna
I'll
put
send
your
it to you.
we're gonna put your information
Yep.
so people can take a look at it. For you guys out there, this is new. This is fresh. We're trying to do something different. This is Savage Podcast. Yeah, that's right, Savage. My name is Savage. Right? Can I say that? Yeah, my name is motherfucking Savage. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you.